Hey, this is Scott, and today I'm going to talk about what I think is one of the best lenses for the Canon EOS-R. So the lens that I'm talking about is the Laowa 12mm f2.8, and obviously, who's to say what's the best lens? I know that's what this video is about, but obviously there are tons of different applications, and there's pros and cons to everything. But overall, I think that kind of the best match for the EOS-R, in particular the 4K on the EOS-R, is this Laowa 12mm lens. If you've been living under a rock, then the reason that such a wide lens is necessary for this is because there's a huge crop in 4K on the EOS-R, just like there was on the 5D Mark IV, something around 1.7 times crop, which is, pretty significant. And if you're going to be vlogging or something like I am now, typically you're pretty close to the camera and you need a wider lens to kind of compensate for that, to get everything that you need in the frame. A lot of other people have been talking about the Canon 10 to 22mm lens as an option for that, and that does have some pros over this Laowa lens as well, but I think it has some drawbacks that this Laowa lens can address as well. For one, this Laowa lens is a full frame lens, so if you switch over to 1080p, you can still use this Laowa lens, but the 10 to 22 is for APS-C, so if you switch back over to 1080, you're not going to be able to get that full frame video. I know that the Laowa is not the smallest or the lightest lens, but neither is the EOS-R. And look at somebody like Peter McKinnon, who's been using the 1DX to vlog for quite a while now, quite successfully. I think that if you're going to want a full frame, obviously this has the crop, so it's not really full frame, but if you're going to be looking for a vlogging camera, they're getting bigger and bigger, and this is not that bad. It's not the smallest and the lightest, but it's also not that bad. I think it's definitely manageable. Just gotta work out a little bit. So what's really great is that the EOS-R kind of addresses one of the Laowa lens's biggest problems, the fact that you can't put traditional screw-on filters on there. For video, obviously that's going to be necessary in a lot of situations, but Canon is coming out with an EF to RF adapter where you can just drop those variable ND filters right in there behind the lens, and that's totally going to solve that problem. It's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't use this lens a whole lot with the 5D Mark IV for video, but now it's going to be just no problem, and it's going to be perfect for that. So I guess that's more of a reason why the EOS-R is a good match for the Laowa and not the other way around, but still, it shows what a great pair this lens and camera make. There's also the quality. The 10 to 22 is not Canon's strongest lens in terms of build quality. It might not matter, it's maybe light and small, relatively speaking, but the Laowa is a solid lens, both in terms of build quality and image quality. If you want to see more on the image quality, I do have a video going in depth to that. I'll put a link down below. But it's a really solid lens all around, and it's a 2.8 aperture, which is really nice too. On the 10 to 22, you get a variable aperture. As you zoom in, it's from 3.5 to 4.5, so even at its widest, it's not as wide as this Laowa lens, and this Laowa lens is very strong right out of the gate at 2.8, so you can use it there if you need to, and you don't have to have any reservations. The 10 to 22 is also obviously a little bit wider on the wide end, but honestly, I think that this 12mm with the 4K crop on the EOS-R is kind of the perfect middle ground. It looks really great. It's not too wide that you start looking really weird. If you go into 1080p and you get the full 12mm, then maybe it's a little bit wide. Let me just show you that right now. This is what you get with that full frame 12mm goodness. It's extremely wide, and I think it looks really weird. Look at my fingers. This is crazy. But if you're doing some scenery, maybe you do want to take advantage of that full 12mm, so you can just go ahead and switch over into 1080. If you want to do slow motion or something with this, then you get that full frame video with this 12mm. Again, the APS-C design on the 10 to 22 is not going to do that for you. So while, yes, the 10mm is wider, when you're in 1080p, you get to take advantage of this even more. So that brings me to the last point, which of course I have to address, is that yes, this is a manual focus only lens, but Canon finally put focus peaking in this camera, so combined with, the really wide focal length, pretty much everything's going to be in focus anyway, and you don't have to really worry about it. Especially if you're vlogging, then you're going to be pretty much a constant distance from the camera, and you can just set it and forget it, and you're not going to have any issues. So while it's not the perfect lens, and it's not a complete lens, you're definitely not going to want this to be your one and only lens. This is definitely a great choice to overcome that crop factor when you're in 4K, and still maintain the ability to drop down to 1080p and take advantage of the full frame and the wider 12 millimeters of this lens. It has a lot of pros, and it's got a great image quality, great build quality. If you're looking for something solid that you can trust and rely on, this is going to be the lens for you. So if you have any questions or comments, or you want to see anything more about the EOS-R, let me know down in the comments below, and I will definitely try to get back to you. For now, if you like this video or found it helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share it if you'd like, and as always, thank you for watching.